Insane warning at midnight. Don't sign this. Billionaire shocked by Maid's secret. The soft thud of a heart beating echoed in the grandiose mansion, interrupted by the chilling whisper of the wind slithering through the cracks. Midnight had struck, and with it, shadows stretched like ominous fingers reaching toward the corners where secrets were buried. Deep in the belly of that opulent fortress, a maid clutched an envelope, trembling with the weight of what she was about to do. Up on the top floor, billionaire Victor Reynolds was oblivious, his wealth shimmering around him like a false sense of security. Little did he know, a storm was brewing that would threaten everything he had built. As the maid, Mia, took a breath that felt like a gulp of ice, she recalled the strange happenings around the mansion since she'd started working there. The flickering lights that danced like fireflies at odd hours, the whispers that echoed when no one was home, and the feeling of being watched even when she stood alone in the vast foyer. It was enough to make anyone's skin crawl. But the envelope, God, the envelope. The way it had fallen into her hands felt like a script from a horror movie. It radiated a glow, a pull that was almost magnetic. Every inch of her wanted to toss it into the fireplace, to eradicate what it might contain. Yet, there was also a deep, gnawing curiosity. What could her signature unlock? Could it break the chains that whispered of danger and doom? With every passing second, the air thickened like fog rolling in from the ocean. Shadows darted across her mind, each more vivid than the last. Would anyone believe her? She had seen the way the other staff looked at her, wide-eyed and hushed. Stay away, they warned, but she felt trapped. It was the envelope or her sanity, and either choice could lead her straight into the jaws of peril. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As she hovered over the prospects of her decision, a loud crash splintered the tense silence. Victor's voice boomed. Who's there? The walls seemed to quiver at his command, and Mia's heart raced. The envelope slipped from her hands, fluttering to the floor like a fallen leaf. Panic surged through her. This was at the moment that could change their lives forever. Each step felt like wading through thick mud as she approached the door. She had to know what happened next, what dark revelations awaited inside that flimsy parchment. Should she warn him? Or was she sealing his fate by getting involved in this strange charade swirling around them? The questions clawed at her mind, but the pulse of impending danger urged her to choose now. What lay ahead, danger or discovery? Only time could tell as the clock ticked down, and the first rustlings of truth began to crack through the air. Mia's heart raced in time with the crashing waves of fear thrashing against her chest. Victor's booming voice echoed through the mansion, slicing the silence. She could feel adrenaline coursing through her veins as the envelope lay motionless on the marble floor, a snake coiled in the grass, waiting to strike. She hesitated for a single, painful heartbeat. Would he see it? Would he understand its significance? She could almost hear the whispers of the mansion's secrets crackling through the shadows, urging her to act. Every instinct screamed for her to run, yet she felt an invisible tether pulling her towards the door. With an anxious breath, she opened it just a crack. Victor stood there, breathless, his eyes scanning the hallway like a hawk spotting its prey. His tousled hair caught the moonlight, the sharp lines of his face accentuated by the dim glow. For a moment, she felt the weight of the world shift. "Victor," she said, her voice barely escaping as a whisper. It seemed to hang unsaid, drowning in the tension. "Mia?" His tone softened, his eyes darting to the envelope, now forgotten on the ground. "What are you doing up at this hour?" She swallowed hard, her throat dry as paper. I found something." The implications of those words hung heavy in the air. Victor's expression shifted, tightening into something more guarded. "What do you mean? What did you find?" Mia's gaze flickered nervously back to the envelope, wondering if revealing its contents could bring about salvation or hellfire. "It's important," she urged, stepping closer. He held a hand up, his voice dropping to a low growl. "If it's about the company, I really need to. It's not just about the company, she interrupted, shaking off all reservations. It's about you and everything around here. A flicker of confusion flared in his eyes. What are you talking about? You sound crazy. Just trust me. Please. In that moment, a noise shattered the emotional standoff, a low, guttural growl emerging from the depths of the mansion. The floors trembled beneath them, and the lights flickered violently as if the house itself was enraged. It felt as though something dark had awakened, and Mia instinctively grabbed Victor's arm, drawing him into her urgency. Listen to me. There is something wrong with this place. I felt it since the first day I started working here. There is something hidden, something dangerous. Victor's expression shifted from confusion to doubt. You don't understand. This house, it's my legacy. I can't. Just before he could finish, the air chilled, wrapping around them like a frost-laden fog. A shadow passed just beyond the edges of their vision. Mia's breathing quickened, and she glanced towards the source of the movement, her instincts screaming. Victor, we need to get out of here, she urged, but he stood frozen, a deer caught in headlights. In that split second, the shadow darkened, taking on shape. A figure emerged from the gloom, its intentions unclear but undeniably menacing. The fear in Mia's chest inspired desperation. She knew they'd have to stand together if they were to survive what loomed ahead. Most people would ignore it. Most people would run. But she could see it now, a storm brewing at their doorstep, one that could wash away all they had built. With a resolute shake of her head, she reached for the envelope, raw determination seeping into her voice. It's now or never, Victor. We face this together. You don't have to be alone in this fight. Outside, the wind howled, lifting the edges of darkness. What would they discover when the past stormed back with a vengeance? What dark realities awaited in the corners of the mansion's secrets? The time of decisions drew closer, the clock counting down to an uncertain fate. The figure in the shadows stepped forward, a ghastly silhouette against the flickering light. Mia's heart pounded in her ears, drowning out the echoes of the mansion's haunting past. She squeezed Victor's arm tighter as a rush of cold air washed over them, sending shivers racing down her spine. Who are you? Victor's voice wavered, breaking the tension with a tremor that seemed to shake the very foundations of the house. The figure didn't answer, only stepped closer, revealing its features, an older man with deep-set eyes that bore into Mia's soul, a face etched with lines of regret and hidden truths. I've come for what was promised. His voice dripped with an unsettling calm. Mia's instincts screamed to flee, but she planted her feet, refusing to back down. What do you want? She demanded, her voice steadier than she felt. Your master's heritage holds secrets, secrets meant to stay buried. The man's gaze drifted toward Victor, whose anxiety unfolded like a delicate flower. Secrets that should never be unearthed. Victor's voice faltered. Maybe we should just know. She interrupted, stepping between Victor and the looming threat. We're not afraid of you. We deserve to know the truth. For a moment, silence enveloped the room. The wind howled once more, rattling the windows as if the house were protesting their defiance. The figure's expression flickered, a flash of both respect and challenge. You're brave, girl. But bravery often comes with a price. What do you mean? Mia's stomach churned with unease. Those who seek the truth must be prepared to face darkness. Step into the light, and you might find shadows you aren't ready to confront. He smirked, revealing a glimpse of teeth that glimmered like daggers. Mia's breathing turned jagged and shallow. What are you hiding? More than you could ever imagine. The man turned his gaze to the envelope still clasped in Mia's hand. That holds more power than you realize. It's not merely paper. It's a key to the past, a past that can destroy or liberate. Mia felt the weight of the envelope pressing against her palm, her mind racing. Was it a warning or an invitation? She stole a glance at Victor, whose uncertainty deepened. If they opened that envelope, would they unleash chaos? Or was it the only way to ensure their survival? Victor, we have to open it, she urged, desperation lacing her voice. We can't let him control us. Not any longer. Are you sure? Victor asked, fear mingling with hesitation in his wide eyes. The shadowed figure chuckled softly, a sound that crawled along Mia's skin. You may wish you never had. Some doors, once opened, cannot be closed. With a deep breath, she ripped the flap of the envelope open, revealing its contents. A stack of photographs, each one a window into a past enshrouded in mystery. The first picture showed Victor as a child, standing beside someone who looked eerily familiar. The air crackled with tension as they both peered at the image, pieces of a puzzle unlocking in their minds. What the hell? Victor's voice was a ghost, his body tense as he turned to the figure. What did you do? The man watched with dark amusement, shadows dancing across his face. Maybe you're the one who should be asking what was done to you. Mia felt her heartbeat quicken again, pulse racing in sync with the storm outside. The truth was within reach, but at what cost? As Victor recoiled from the photographs, pain and confusion etched across his features. The shadows around them seemed to close in tighter, swirling like a consuming fog. The mansion creaked ominously, and Mia knew they were on the brink of revelation, but danger loomed just as heavily. Victor, we can't stop now. We're stepping into this together, she cried, her voice cutting through the rising storm. His gaze was intense, fear melting slowly into resolve. Together, he whispered, and just as realization settled in, the lights flickered, plunging them into darkness. A chilling laugh echoed through the mansion, sending a sharp shiver down Mia's spine. What secrets would those photographs reveal? And more pressing, how deep would the darkness seep into their lives? Mia's heart raced in the pitch blackness. The sound of the eerie laughter hung in the air like a suffocating shroud. She grasped Victor's arm tighter, as if anchoring herself against the surging tide of fear that threatened to pull her under. Victor? She whispered, desperately trying to pierce through the darkness. Silence answered, stretching out painfully until she felt his fingers brush against hers cold and trembling. I'm here, he breathed, his voice barely above a whisper, laced with fear. The echoes of their breathing filled the void as they stood frozen, surrounded by shadows that felt alive, pulsating with dark energy. The man's ominous chuckle still lingered in her mind. What had they awakened? Just then, there was a soft rustle, followed by the faintest glint of light. Mia squinted, her eyes straining against the dark, and finally spotted a flickering candle on the nearby table. It seemed to dance wildly, casting grotesque shadows that twisted and turned on the walls. Victor stumbled forward, reaching for the candle, but as his fingers closed around it, the shadows leaped, stretching their tendrils toward him. He jerked back, the candle almost slipping from his grasp. Did you see that? He gasped, eyes wide with terror. The shadows, they moved. Mia felt the air grow thick with tension, as if the very fabric of reality were tightening around them. We need to get out of here, she yelled, but her steady resolve was wavering, turning into panic. Wait. Victor's eyes darted toward the photographs spread out across the table. We can't leave yet. We need answers. He was torn between flight and the insatiable need to uncover the truth. A battle played out on his face. Answers? Or more danger? Mia shot back, her voice quivering. He said some doors cannot be closed. What if we're already trapped? But Victor was already looking at the photographs again, his face morphing from fear to a determined resolve. Look at this one. His finger pointed to a faded image of a woman, her striking resemblance to Mia, sending a jolt through her. Who is she? Victor asked, trembling fingers hovering just above the surface of the photo. Why does she look like me? Mia's heartbeat thundered in her ears. What does this mean? That's what we need to find out. The urgency in Victor's voice pushed her forward. She turned back to the sinister figure who had set this tumultuous night into motion. What did you do? She shouted into the darkness. What are we part of? Footsteps echoed in the distance, dragging through the house like a specter. The air thickened with an almost tangible dread, and as they turned toward the sound, the outline of the man emerged from the depths of the shadows, seeming to meld into the gloom itself. You dare question your fate? He taunted, a sinister grin spreading across his face. Every choice you make is already destined to happen. The past isn't so easily shaken. What are you talking about? Mia's voice quivered, struggling to hold her ground. Your heritage is written in blood, he hissed, eyes glinting dangerously. You will understand, whether you wish to or not. In one quick motion, he snatched a photograph from the table, raising it as though he held the sun. The candlelight caught on the image, igniting the ink with a burst of crimson color, shadows shrinking back momentarily before launching forth. more menacing than ever. Mia felt the walls of the mansion pulse around them, a heartbeat of its own, closing in as if trying to suffocate their will. "We can't let him control us, Victor," she screamed, stepping forward, her anger igniting a flicker of courage. "We have the power to change our fate." The shadows lunged again, shrouding them in darkness. Suddenly, the candle flickered out. "Together," Victor shouted, and with that, they clasped hands, defiance burning in their hearts. In that darkness, they felt the weight of their choices, the past, the secrets, and the truth pressing in closer. Would they be swallowed whole by the shadow, or could they uncover the light within? Just as the darkness reached for them, a brilliant flash illuminated the room. What lay hidden beyond that brilliance? What would they discover as the night unveiled its secrets? The flash pierced through the darkness like a bolt of lightning, momentarily scorching the oppressive shadows, banishing them to the corners of the room. Mia squinted against the sudden brightness, feeling a jolt of adrenaline surge through her veins as she caught sight of a figure before her. It was the woman from the photograph, her ethereal beauty intensified by the glow. She hovered near the wall, a vision of both grace and despair. Mia's heart raced, but instead of feeling terror, she felt a strange connection, a pull that wrapped around her like a warm embrace. "Help me," the woman's voice whispered, soft and hurried, as if the words were pulled from her very being against her will. "You must understand, your fate is bound to mine." Victor squeezed Mia's hand tighter, his face etched with confusion. "Is this real?" he whispered, his eyes darting from the glow back to the fading shadows. Before she could reply, a gnashing sound erupted from the dark, and the atmosphere shifted sharply. The sinister man was now organizing the shadows behind them, pulling some of their weight to form a twisted visage, mocking the apparition before them. "Do not listen to her," he growled, voice thick with malice. "She cannot help you. She is a fragment of a past you cannot escape." The glow flickered, sending pulses of light across the room. In those bright moments, Mia caught glimpses of the woman's life played out in flashes like an old film. Laughter, love, pain, and betrayal. The woman's eyes glistened, pleading for Mia's understanding. "Your ancestor," the woman began, fear creeping into her voice. "You are the key, Mia. Break the cycle. End this torment." Mia's mind raced. "Cycle? What torment?" She turned to Victor. "What is she talking about? What do we need to end?" Victor's face mirrored her turmoil, struggling to comprehend the unfolding mystery. "We need to trust her, Mia. I think she is trying to tell us silence." The man snarled, sending a shockwave of dread through the air. "You will not defy your bloodline. This power comes at a cost, and it belongs to me." Mia felt an electric spark crackle in the air. The shadows writhed and twisted in response, elongating toward her, as if hungry for the very life force that burned within. She stumbled back, nearly losing her grip on Victor, who stood firm beside her. "Together," he said again, the conviction infusing his words with strength. "Whatever it takes, we fight this." The woman's figure glimmered brighter, casting a shimmering shield around them. "You must choose," she urged, her voice growing stronger. "Will you confront the past, or let it consume you?" With a sudden pulse of intuition, Mia closed her eyes, reaching deep within herself. Blood surged under her skin, memories pressing against her mind, flickers of faces, words, histories entwined with hers. "Let us find the truth," Mia shouted, urgency igniting her voice as she faced the dark figure looming near. The words solidified into a command, an incantation thrumming with raw power. Victor nodded, his unwavering gaze now matching her own. "We're not afraid of you. We'll uncover whatever secret binds us." The air trembled, the brilliance of the woman expanding, radiating warmth that pushed against the encroaching shadows. The dark figure sneered, stepping closer, but the light only grew, pushing him back with fierce intensity. But beyond the interaction, whispers swelled the shadows, stirring with a sinister harmony, weaving around them, teasing Mia's resolve. What is hiding in the depths? A relentless whisper echoed in her mind. What awaits beyond the veil of light? The woman reached forward, a longing in her eyes, a truth obscured by betrayal and blood, waiting to change everything you know. As the chilling laugh of the shadow figure faded into the backdrop, Mia felt the weight of her choices heavy in the air. The moment felt fragile, a breath away from collapse. What truth lay hidden within the edges of that radiant glow? Would it lead to freedom or further entrapment? The atmosphere crackled with tension, a pulse of fear coursing through Mia as she clutched Victor's hand. Shadows continued to swirl, growing restless, and the sinister figure's malevolent grin deepened. Mia felt the weight of history pressing down on her, like a heavy blanket woven from the threads of pain and secrets. "Find your strength, Mia," the woman urged, her light illuminating the chaos around them, urging Mia to step forward. "You are not just a witness. You are the catalyst." Mia's heart thundered in her chest, racing beside the madness unfolding before her. "What do I do?" she called out, her voice laced with urgency. "Embrace your bloodline." The woman's eyes were wide, shimmering with hope and desperation. "Accept the pain, the love, and the truth. Only then will you break free." With a fierce determination, Mia locked her gaze onto the woman's. Memories sparked in her mind, twinkling like stars. Her grandmother's stories, the family heirlooms soaked in rich history, and the echoes of betrayal that had plagued their lineage. It had always felt like a curse, a weight she was destined to carry. From the corner of her eye, she saw the dark figure coiling deeper into the shadows, his laughter slicing through the charged air. "You think you can outsmart your legacy? You are bound to my will." Victor stepped in front of her, an unwavering shield. "We will not cower. Move back, Mia." He pushed her slightly behind him, preparing himself to confront the looming darkness encroaching upon them. Together, he insisted, his voice steady despite the chaos. "We have to draw power from her." Mia took a deep breath, absorbing Victor's courage. She felt the warmth from the woman beside them, reassuring yet heavy, as she began to piece the puzzle together. The cycle had to end, but was breaking free as simple as confronting their past? "I want to know," Mia shouted, feeling the shadows hiss at her newfound defiance. "Tell me what happened. What did my ancestor suffer? What binds us to his darkness?" The woman's glow shuddered slightly at the edges, flickers of pain manifesting in her spectral visage. They were betrayed by their own. Dark alliances were formed, and blood was spilled to keep secrets buried. "You are the surface of it all, Mia. You must uncover the truth." Victor's grip on her hand tightened, a spark of hope igniting in their shared resolve. "We're with you," he reassured her, his eyes blazing with determination. "We'll face whatever horrors await." The dark figure's laughter erupted into a thunderous roar, sending shockwaves through the air. "Fools!" he howled, shadows writhing around him like angry serpents. "You stand no chance against the tides of fate." Mia hesitated for a moment, feeling the weight of uncertainty flood her mind. "What if I fail?" she whispered, doubt creeping in like a shadow over her heart. "Then your bloodline is lost," the woman replied, her voice now steady and clear. "But take heart, all hope lies in the truth that sets you free." In that instant, Mia felt a wave of energy swell within her. The past tugged at her, weary yet demanding, and she understood. There had to be a reckoning. As she searched the depths of her soul, the room vibrated with raw emotion. Gathering her fortitude, Mia stepped forward, her heart pounding. "Show me. Show us the truth." The dark figure strained against her growing light, shadows flaring with fury. "No, you will not uncover what has long been hidden." But she stood firm, light igniting around her in a brilliant blaze. Shadows screamed in anguish, and for the first time, she felt a flicker of control over her fate. Suddenly, the room shimmered with vibrant colors as the memories of her ancestors coalesced into a dizzying array of emotions. A portrait of whispered promises and shadow-drenched betrayals played out before her, revealing the gruesome history left in her family's wake. Faces twisted in agony, pulsating revelations bombarded her consciousness. And in that chaos, one piercing truth emerged, a binding contract written in blood. Her blood. "Your secret binds you to me," the figure howled. "This deal has not just been forgotten, it's been cursed." The air thickened, and spirals of light twisted and turned, illuminating paths she had yet to traverse. Should she follow the urge to dig deeper, unearth the hidden contract, or retreat into the relative safety of oblivion? Mia's heart raced. What lay in the depths of that truth, and how could it set them free or plunge them into deeper darkness? And as the shadows slithered closer, she took a decisive breath, knowing there was no turning back. What horrors were ready to reveal their fangs? Would she embrace the truth, or let the lingering darkness consume them whole? Light burst forth, a searing beacon in the suffocating darkness, wrapping around Mia like a protective cocoon. Every heartbeat resonated within her, pulsing with urgency. The dark figure recoiled, his malevolence splintering under the weight of her growing strength, and the shadows hissed like a choked whisper, desperate to reclaim their hold. "Stop!" he shouted, desperation twisting his voice into a guttural growl. "You can't understand what you're unleashing." Mia felt every inch of the fight resonating within her, a blend of fear and exhilaration. As vibrant colors danced before her eyes, the air thick with secrets, she forced herself to focus. She wasn't just fighting for herself. She was battling for every ancestor who had suffered in silence, whose pain laid the foundation of her bloodline. "I want the truth," she called, her voice cutting through the chaos that consumed them. "Show me what lies beneath the shadows." Above the mix of light and dark, the spectral woman flared, her own brightness swelling with an almost parental pride. "Yes, Mia, let the light expose the lies hidden in your lineage." In a heartbeat, threads of light stretched out, illuminating a tapestry of memories. The walls morphed into scenes from the past, flickering images of betrayal, weary eyes full of sorrow, countless stories etched in desperation. A cacophony of voices filled the room, each whisper wrapping around her like a shroud. Mia buckled, overwhelmed. "What is this?" Her body shook, the history crashing over her like waves in a storm. Faces begged for reconciliation through the years, but not all bore her blood. Shadows danced menacingly among them, taunting her with the ghosts of her past. "Your ancestors made choices, choices that bind us all," the dark figure hissed, his voice slithering into her ears. "Their sins echo through time." Victor stepped beside Mia, grounding her with his solid presence. "Whatever they may be, Mia, we'll face them together," he urged, eyes blazing with determination despite the shadows swirling around them. With renewed resolve, Mia screamed into the chaos. What did they bargain away? A feminine voice rose from the memories, a soft yet fierce echo from within. "Power, freedom, their souls." The flickers of past lives collided, revealing men and women who stood before dreadful choices, each trade steeped in fear and deception. The dark figure lunged forward, his hatred colliding with Mia's blinding light. "You play with forces you cannot control." His eyes burned with ferocity, a predator desperate to reclaim his prey. The shadows shrieked, clawing at Mia's resolve, seeking the fractures within her. But Mia surged, pushing out the fear that threatened to consume her. "No more. I will not let this legacy define me." The air crackled as she shouted her truth into existence, each syllable ringing like a clarion call. Just then, a trembling thread of power coiled around her, sparking a violent reaction from the dark form. "You think this will change your fate?" he howled, his visage shifting as shadows surged around him like a living whirlwind. The chamber vibrated violently. The echoes of history were the very breath of her ancestors' pain. "Listen closely," the spectral woman warned, urgency crackling in her voice. "This moment is pivotal. Only by confronting the darkness of your blood can you sever the bonds that hold you all captive." Mia's thoughts swirled, the weight of generations heavy upon her. Could she really challenge the darkness? Her heart thudded, on the edge of decision. Victor's hand tightened on hers, unwavering. "You have the strength, Mia. Trust it. Trust us." And in that moment, clarity pierced through the chaos. This was not solely about uncovering the past, it was about rewriting the story. With a deep breath, she stepped forward. "I will not be a pawn. I choose to redefine my fate." The shadows screeched in outrage, twisting and bending, but Mia stood tall, radiating the light of her ancestors' truth. As they howled behind her, an ominous silence fell over the chamber. The fabric of reality shifted, the world trembling with the weight of the choice she'd made. Would she unleash salvation, or would they plunge into the depths of darkness? The dark figure hovered at the edge of her vision, smirk etched in defiance. "You think you have control? The real darkness lurks beyond this door." Fear clawed at her stomach, but curiosity wrapped around her soul. What lay beyond? She took a deep breath, eyes steady, ready to step into the unknown, unaware of the horrors that awaited them. As the air crackled with tension, the moment stretched like a taut wire ready to snap. Mia exchanged a nervous glance with Victor, their expressions mirroring a mix of determination and uncertainty. The shadows shivered at the edge of the chamber, swirling ominously, waiting for her next move. "Are you ready for this?" Victor whispered, his voice barely breaking through the thick atmosphere. Mia could hear the uncertainty twisting in his tone like an unraveling thread. Yet, when she looked into his eyes, she saw unwavering support. Together, she replied, her resolve hardening. "We move forward." With an audacity born from despair and hope, Mia willed the shimmering light within her to expand. It surged forward, illuminating the door framed by pulsating shadows. Each step felt heavy as she approached, Dylan's dark chuckle echoing mockingly from behind. "One way or another, you'll regret this." Ignoring him, she grasped the door's handle, feeling a chill ripple down her spine. The weight of its ancient wood pressed against her palm, as if the spirits of the past were warning her to turn back. But she could feel the spectral woman's presence behind her, urging her on. Mia pushed the door open. Cold air blasted her face, and she staggered back for just a moment. The darkness seemed thicker, a tangible cloak meant to deceive and ensnare. She stumbled forward, pulling Victor with her. They crossed the threshold together, plunging into the unknown. The world shifted. Shadows warped around them, twisting into distorted shapes that loomed with malice. Mia squeezed Victor's hand, her heart racing wildly in her chest. "Where are we?" he asked, scanning the barren landscape. It appeared as if they had stepped into a different time and place entirely. Crumbling ruins surrounded them, walls of jagged stone twisted into grotesque formations, with faint whispers emanating from within. A wretched fog wove between the dilapidated structures, curling around their ankles like a living thing hungry for warmth. An echo of what was, she murmured, a chill washing over her. A place where truths were buried. The spectral woman's voice reverberated unexpectedly. "You must face the darkness they left behind." As if choreographed by unseen forces, the shadows transformed before her eyes into figures from her ancestry, faces twisted by anguish and betrayal. Mia felt the heat of anger and sorrow radiating from them, compelling her to step forward. "What do you want?" she cried out, her voice cutting through the despair enveloping them. They advanced, their empty eyes searching her own, as if demanding acknowledgement. Memories long forgotten resurfaced within her mind, bringing forward flashes of pain and regret, screams echoing. Sacrifices made in desperate times, a dark tapestry of choices. Suddenly, the figures stopped, collective breath held, and all eyes locked onto Mia. A little boy's voice, trembling yet fierce, emerged from the shadows. "Are you here to save us or judge us?" Her throat tightened, memories surfacing. She remembered the stories. They had fought against the darkness, but it had won so many times. Doubt began to wrap around her heart like a constricting snake. "I'm here to understand," she stuttered, desperation creeping into her voice. "To end the cycle." At her words, a piercing wail echoed, shaking the walls. The shadows closed in tighter, every flicker filled with rage. "You think it's that simple?" The dark figure responded, his presence coiling like smoke. "You've only just begun to uncover the cost of your ancestry." Mia's heart raced as the ground beneath her rumbled. This was no ordinary fight. This was a battle against those who had shaped her fate. Gripping Victor's hand firmly, she leaned into him, feeling the heat of his strength flow through her. "We can't back down now," she said, her voice steady. "We'll break this together." But as the shadows roiled around them, gathering strength, the question loomed larger in her mind. Could she truly rewrite their history? Or would she too be swallowed by the darkness? Silence hung between them, the air thick with suspense. What choice would she make now? The shadows rippled, revealing a doorway that pulsed with dark energy. An unmarked path torn between two worlds lay before them. "Dare you tread deeper?" The dark figure echoed, a sneer in his voice. Mia's breath hitched, every cell in her body screaming to flee, but fire sparked beneath her skin. She and Victor exchanged one last glance filled with silent promises. Together, they would challenge the legacy that sought to bind them. "Let us go," she declared, moving toward the door. The darkness awaited them, ready to test their resolve. Would they emerge victorious or become part of the shadows themselves? As her hand touched the cold surface, an echoing scream pierced the air, a warning, a premonition. The door creaked ominously, hinting that whatever lay on the other side could alter the course of not just Mia's fate, but of all she had known. What awaited her beyond the door? Would they be prepared for the truth that lingered just out of reach? As the door swung open, a wave of darkness enveloped them, consuming every flicker of light. It felt all too familiar, that heavy, suffocating weight, as if the shadows themselves were alive and breathing. Mia's heart thundered in her chest, drowning out the whispers, the echoes of torment that clawed at the edges of her consciousness. "Stay close," she whispered, her voice trembling despite her steadiness. Victor nodded, his grip tightening around her hand. They stepped through the threshold into an expansive void, the darkness swirling like a tempest around them. Shapes began to coalesce, figures from the past drifting like smoke, their faces twisted in torment. Mia shuddered, feeling their pain seep into her very core. Who are you?" she managed, her voice barely a stifled breath. "I am the echo of your ancestors," a voice boomed, deep and resonant, seeming to come from every direction. "We are the lost, caught in the web of choices made long before you." Mia's stomach churned. "What do you want with me?" Understanding. Came the collective charge of the figures, their spectral forms flickering like candles in the wind. "You seek to break the cycle, yet the cost must be paid." "What cost?" Victor stepped forward, fueled by a surge of righteousness. "What do we have to do?" The shadows twisted violently, a dark storm brewing as the voice shifted, dripping with malicious intent. "You must face your greatest fear. Only then will you find the truth and decide whether you will join us or free us." Suddenly, the ground cracked open beneath them, forming a chasm filled with an icy blue light. Mia felt a pull toward it, a magnetic force reaching out to her, calling her name like a siren's song. She faltered as the dread washed over her deep in the pit of her stomach. She felt the weight of years gone by, of pain and sacrifices made by those she had not known. "Victor," she cried, catching herself just as she was about to fall. "Can't we just fight? We don't have to play their game." He looked at her, his eyes reflecting a fierce determination. "We cannot fight what we don't understand. We have to confront this." Mia's heart raced, caught between indignation and fear. But there was no time left for arguments. The figures began to scream, a cacophony of anguish piercing her ears and sending shivers down her spine. In that moment, Mia felt the shadows stretch toward one of the figures, the little boy from before. His face was smeared with terror, eyes wide in silent pleading. "Face your fear, Mia," he cried out. "Only then can we be free." The darkness surged, crashing against their resolve like waves upon rocky shores. Mia felt a flash of despair, a vision of her past, scenes of loss and anguish that she had long buried. The faces of loved ones she'd lost, the moments of regret began to swirl around her, wrapping tighter and tighter like chains. "No, I can't. I won't," she shouted, trying to break free from the clawing tendrils that threatened to pull her into the chasm. But the boyish voice broke through, cutting through her doubt. "You have the power. Only you can change the story." Mia looked at Victor, their hands still intertwined. He had faith in her, a fierce burning light in the encompassing darkness. Swiftly, she closed her eyes, taking a deep breath to steady herself. "Okay," she whispered, determination settling in. "I'll face it. I will face my fear." The moment her words left her lips, the ground shook violently, the shadows retreating briefly as the luminous chasm widened further. Mia stepped forward, heart in her throat, ready to confront the specters of her past. As she peered into the light's depths, a flicker caught her eye, figures waiting for her there, eyes reflecting pain, but also something else, hope. Would she find healing hidden in the depths, or would she drown in the abyss of despair? Mia took a deep breath, ready to step forward, plunging deeper into the uncertain glow. What would she discover about herself and the legacy that haunted her? As Mia stepped into the luminous chasm, a rush of emotions flooded her senses: fear, hope, sorrow, but mostly a determination to uncover the truth. The shimmering light enveloped her, and with each step, she felt the weight of her ancestors urging her onward. Victor remained steadfast by her side, silently radiating courage as they ventured deeper into the unknown. "Are you ready?" he whispered, his voice a comforting anchor in the swirling chaos around them. Mia nodded, eyes glued to the figures slowly taking shape before her. Each face bore a story, the lines of grief mingling with flickers of joy that created a tapestry of their intertwined fates. Her heart raced with clarity as she finally recognized the faces of her ancestors, their pain and struggles pulling at her heartstrings. The little boy stepped forward from the swirling light, his gaze piercing yet kind. "You came to free us, Mia. But first, you must understand their choices and the fear that binds them." Suddenly, memories swirled around her, a storm of moments from her family's past. She saw her great-great-grandmother, a fierce woman who had fought against societal norms only to be betrayed by those she trusted. A gasp escaped Mia's lips as the pieces began to align. Her lineage was not just dust and shadows. It was a legacy wrapped in courage, sacrifice, and the haunting sting of betrayal. "Everything that happened to us shaped who you are," the boy said, voice echoing softly among the spectral figures watching her intently. "Face the fear that lies in your heart. That is the key to your freedom." Mia felt a lump form in her throat, remembering her own struggles, the moments of doubt that chipped away at her spirit. What if she failed? What if uncovering the truth only opened old wounds? "I'm afraid of failing you," she admitted, the honesty washing over her like a cold wave. "No," the boy replied, stepping closer. "Your vulnerability is your strength. Only by confronting your fears can we be free." Their eyes locked, and in that moment, something shifted within her. It wasn't just about confronting darkness. It was about embracing every part of herself, the resilience, the pain, and the love that connected them throughout generations. Taking a deep breath, Mia pressed forward, heart pounding against her chest. "I'm ready to face my fears," she declared, voice shaking yet powerful. The air around her erupted with energy. Shadows flickered, powerful and chaotic, but she stood her ground. The dark figure manifested behind her, a twisted smirk etched on his malicious face. "You think you can change your fate? You're a product of your bloodline. You cannot escape the darkness." Mia turned to confront him, voice steady. "You don't own me or my past. I define my fate." The light startled him, sending shockwaves through the shadows clinging to him. With Victor at her side, they reached deep into the light radiating from the chasm, summoning strength from her ancestors. Mia grasped Victor's hand tightly, drawing strength from their bond. "Together, we can break the cycle." The spectral woman reappeared, her presence now enveloped in shimmering light. "Your choice matters, Mia. Embrace your truth." Mia knew what she had to do. The swirling memories flared brighter, and with a determined breath, she shouted, "I choose to learn from the pain. I choose to set you all free." As her declaration echoed into the abyss, tendrils of darkness recoiled violently, merging with the radiant glow. Suddenly, a blinding light erupted, illuminating the space, casting away the shadows that had clung to her ancestors for far too long. With each pulse of light, memories transformed, offering glimpses of how choices alter the course of generations. Old wounds healed as forgiveness rained down, melting the barriers that had trapped them for so long. And then, in a wave of glory, the dark figure screeched in agony. The chasm of shadows began to collapse, revealing the lingering beauty of her family's legacy, a dance of light and shadow coexisting. "Thank you, Mia," the little boy said, his features softening. "You are the light we needed to break free." With a final, thunderous clap, the darkness dissipated, enveloping Mia and Victor in a warm embrace. As the last remnants of shadow faded, the air filled with a profound silence, leaving them weightless and free. The spectral woman smiled, her glow surrounding them both. "You've rewritten your legacy, Mia. Remember, the past will always be part of you, but you have the power to shape your own future. Go forth and live, not in the shadows, but in the light." And just as quickly as they had arrived, Mia and Victor found themselves standing once more in the grand foyer of the mansion, sunlight filtering through the windows like a gentle promise. No longer was it a place of fear. It felt alive with possibilities, the burdens of history finally lifted. Mia turned to Victor, tears glimmering in her eyes. "We did it. We really did it." Together, he replied, warmth filling his gaze as he brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. And now we can move forward together, toward life. As they walked out into the dawn, each step felt lighter, every breath filled with hope. The mansion rested quietly behind them, a monument to what once was, transformed by their courage. Mia squeezed Victor's hand, their futures intertwined, their hearts aligned. They faced the dawn of new beginnings, ready to live a life woven with the threads of their shared courage and love. As they stepped into the sunlight, she turned to him, a smile breaking her face. Ready for our next adventure? Absolutely, he answered, returning her carefree grin. And together, they pushed forward, united in strength, free to write their own story. Now, if you loved this thrilling conclusion and want to dive into more exclusive stories, you need to subscribe to the channel immediately. This is the moment to show your support. Smash that like button now to help feed the algorithm. And don't just keep this excitement to yourself, flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about everything that unfolded. You've been a vital part of this journey, so don't wait even one more second to share this epic conclusion with at least 5 friends who also need to experience this magic. Your engagement helps us grow, and only true fans understand the importance of taking these actions. Let's keep this story alive.